Welcome to this week's show of Drawn to Whitetails. I'm Josh Yancey.
Jeremy Case.
Got Jeremy here. I'm Jeremy's cameraman again. We're sitting in a blind that we put up about a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
And we got pictures of that big 9-pointer we've been after. And plus that warhorse deer.
Yeah, he's still in the area.
In that this food plot. So we're out here on a rainy day.
Yeah.
It seemed like the last time we sat here it was a rainy day. Yeah. But anyway, on this week's show, we've got Blaine Holloman and Paul McBride. Last weekend was Illinois' first opener gun season. And those two guys were able to connect on 2 management deer that they've been after, 2 deer that they wanted to get out of the herd. We got that for you. The only bad thing about that is that the weather was really bad last Saturday. Winds gusting 40 mile an hour. They were unable to get the kill on film because of all the bad weather conditions. But they were able to do a recovery and being able to tell the story about the deer, and we're going to show you the deer, and it's a good segment on how they planned the hunt and everything else. And then on the second half of the show, we're going to talk about the transition now. We got the rut that's pretty much
coming to an end,
and it's November the 29th today. And so what we got planned coming up, it's all about the food. These deer are going to be transitioned to the food. That's where you're going to find the deer at. Probably after this weekend,
no more mornings for us.
Yeah, no more morning hunting. We'll be concentrating on the food in the afternoon. So anyway, without further ado, we'll jump right into the show. Thanks for watching.
Well, good morning, folks. We're here the day after. It's the 22nd. I'm Blaine Holloman. This is Paul McBride. We're Drawn to Whitetail. We harvested these deer last night. Of course, there was a 35, 40 mile an hour northwest wind. We just knew that these deer were going to be coming in if that wind laid and it was getting cold. We knew they was going to be coming in wanting to eat. So I was on a particular farm. Me and Paul both hunted different farms yesterday evening. We was on a particular farm that me and Joel set up earlier in the year in the summer. We put up a platform, put a ground blind on it. Like I said, it was 40 mile an hour winds yesterday, and I fought that blind constantly. It ate me up. That thing blowed in on me, I bet 20 times yesterday. Knocked my gun over. But anyway, didn't have a camera with either one of us, which I'm glad I didn't, because it would have got knocked over 100 times. But we went in, started getting dark, wind started to lay, and like we suspected, here they come. Paul saw how many?
I saw 20 deer total. There was only 3 bucks. Of course, this was the biggest one, and this is a 4-year-old that I know pretty well. He was a 3-year-old last year, and he didn't gain hardly anything, and he was out bumping those does around. And like Blaine said, we were on a food source last night because that cold front come through during the middle of the day. And anytime a cold front comes through in the middle of the day, you probably need to be on food that afternoon. And even though the wind was blowing really hard, it laid just a little bit about dark. It was still blowing pretty good, but the deer were out on their feet. There were a lot of deer pouring into the food plots and stuff. Like we said, unfortunately, we didn't have the camera, so we didn't capture the kill on video. But anyway, we both had good afternoons.
Yeah, saw deer probably as soon as I got the deer stand. I climbed in and saw deer in the field. Got up, wasn't, I'd say 30 minutes, seen another deer, the big 7 that we're after, seen him go probably about 1,000 yards out in front of me. Constantly had deer movement, especially when the wind started to lay just a little bit. They went to the food. They knew it was getting cold. They wanted to feed up. So let's talk about our deer here. This is a 5-year-old, 8. He was on the hit list. Paul actually found this shed 2 years ago, wasn't it, Paul?
2 years ago.
On the same farm, just a little bit of ways from where I killed him. As you can see, he didn't gain, but not really, but mass and a little bit of length. So this is a perfect example of a harvest deer, you know, a management buck. He's an old mature buck. He's a good deer, but he's not what we're after. We're wanting big, mature, basically Boone and Crockett deer, 10 pointers, more, something like that. Long beams, long tines. Paul's, same thing.
Yeah, mine was a, like I said, it was a 4-year-old buck. Got pictures of him from the previous year, and he had these short twos. And he added this little kicker here, and that's about really all he did. If anything, I'm not sure that he didn't go the other way, but he's not quite as big a body as you can tell as Blaine. Blaine's is just a horse of a deer. Big old body, big old neck, and he's probably whooped a lot of other better deer than him as far as antlers go, but his body, I'm sure he whooped a lot of deer and all this mass that he's got. But anyway, this is not by any means the biggest deer either one of us has ever killed, but it's some things, something that you have to do when you're trying to manage a farm is you can't always kill Boone and Crockett deer. Sometimes you need to kill some of these cull deer, and like we said earlier in the year, we don't want to start culling really until they're 4 years old. If they're 4 years old and older and they've only got 8 points, and you know this, I don't know what he'll score. He won't score much, but he just doesn't have a whole lot of potential, and that's not what we want breeding the does. We want our good 10 points and better doing the breeding, and hopefully, you know, getting their genetics out there.
Absolutely. Within 2 to 3 years, you'll start seeing a difference. And we've already started seeing a difference within 1 year of the high quality control that we've got. And I think within the next 2 years, we're really going to start seeing. So hopefully you guys stay tuned with us. And like I said, me and Joel hung that platform back in the summer. It paid out. It did exactly what we thought. A lot of those mature bucks chased the does, traveling back and forth through that area, and that's exactly what happened. This one come out, followed the doe all the way up to the food source, and fortunately I was able to harvest him. So
this makes my second buck for the year, so I'm now officially done. I can take a few more does with my bow, but other than that, I'll be behind the camera, or I actually got to go back to work tomorrow. I've been off for almost a month, so
yeah, me too.
Got to go back to work. Not looking forward to that, but anyway, I've had a good year. One of my best years. I took a really good deer back in October with my bow, so I'm really happy with that.
Really good deer.
But like I said, they all can't be Boone and Crockett deer, so we're doing our part and trying to manage the herd and well, just do our part.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Lord, for blessing us with our harvest and good, clean kills. And stay tuned, folks. Hopefully we'll have a lot more for you. Good job, my brother.
Good job.
Just got back in the truck from our hunt this afternoon, me and Jeremy. It's been a wet weekend here in Kentucky. It's been terrible. This whole week has been kind of a wash. We appreciate you watching this week's show, and just remember we're sticking. The rut's pretty much come to an end, so we're concentrating on the food. We still got some food plots that we've got, and that's the key to this time of year. Is if this is what you plant your food plots for, is this time of year. I mean, the rut's over. These deer are gonna go back to the food source. That's where they're gonna be. You're gonna find your bucks back at the food source. So my tip is that do what we're fixing to do. We're gonna let it rest for a little while this week, start putting out cameras, start seeing what bucks are showing back up, and find where these deer are feeding at, and that's where we're gonna be. We still got a lot of time left. I mean, this is some of the best hunting there, you know, this late season hunting could be some of the best hunting there is. So stick with us. For next week's show, we do have, I did get word from Drew earlier. He was in a blind this afternoon also. We may have a little surprise for you next week. But anyway, thanks for watching, and remember, the season never ends.
And going back to pattern, these deer are going to be switching from, the rut to more of a feed pattern. to get ready for the winter. And I've got a shooter in front of me right now.
Meh.